Avatar The Last Airbender is one of those stories that just never stops giving, and the Shadow of Kyoshi, the sequel to Rise of Kyoshi, proves it. If Rise built Kyoshi into a legend, Shadow shows the cost of that power, and along the way, it drops some incredible callbacks to Avatar The Last Airbender that connects the two stories perfectly. From bending philosophies to familiar names and spiritual parallels, this book ties deeper into the world of Avatar than most people realize. Welcome back to the Casual TV channel. Today we're diving into 8 callbacks from the Shadow of Kyoshi that only true Avatar fans would get. Callback number 1 was actually mentioned in the Rise of Kyoshi, when the Earth Kingdom architects praised the idea of adding ponds to their designs, and if you want to check out that video, there's a link down in the description. But in the Shadow of Kyoshi, we finally get to experience that same setting through Kyoshi's eyes. Standing right alongside the Fire Lord himself, on page 102, the book says, "He'd come to a halt by a turtle duck pond. The animals were napping quietly on the water, so clear they looked like they were hovering in midair. Under a willow tree, there's a stone beach." It's the same iconic turtle duck pond that we later see Zuko and Azula playing beside generations later. The Fire Nation has always been steeped in tradition, from its values to its architecture, and this scene just proves how little things have changed across hundreds of years. That love for preserving history continues in callback number 2 when Kyoshi steps into the Fire Lord's throne room, a location we know all too well from Avatar The Last Airbender. Kyoshi pushed the doors open herself, revealing the throne room. The ceiling of the Great Hall was supported by 4 towering red pillars, with dragons of painted gold spiraling around them to the heavens. The throne of the Fire Nation, a flat, blocky platform that would have given the sitter little comfort. It's incredible that the same visual details remain consistent all the way to Ozai's time. The Fire Nation Royal Palace feels eternal, like a monument carved into history itself. Hopefully, we'll get to see the ruins of the same place in the upcoming Avatar show, with Pavi as the Avatar. Callback number 3 is a direct reference to one of the great episodes of Book 3 of ATLA, The Avatar and the Fire Lord. That episode gives us a legendary backstory of Avatar Roku and Fire Lord Sozin, and how Sozin's betrayal set off a chain of events that started the 100-Year War. In the novel, this episode is referenced when Kyoshi and Zoryu meet at the Fire Nation party. The Avatar and the Fire Lord straightened up, neither wanting to incur her wrath. It's a small moment, but the wording is intentional. The Avatar and the Fire Lord are forever linked throughout history. Whether it's Aang and Zuko, Roku and Sozin, or even Kyoshi and Zoryu, the constant collaboration of the Avatar and the Fire Lord is a very important piece on how the world can remain in balance. Moving away from the Fire Nation but sticking with fire, we got a callback that ties directly to the Northern Air Temple episode from Book 1 of Avatar. In the Shadow of Kyoshi, Kyoshi and her team visit a sage who could help her connect with her past life avatar Kuruk. While they're at Sage Nyahitha's place of business, he says, "North Chungling is built over a deposit of flammable vapors. If too much of it gets out in a concentrated place, a single spark will cause an explosion." In the Northern Air Temple episode in Book 1 of ATLA, the Air Temple was leaking natural gas, and Sokka and the Mechanist come up with an idea to put eggs in the room so they could smell it and be detected. But the Mechanists use firefly lamps to go into the room to prevent that explosion. Like the building in Chungling, in the end battle we see how explosive it really was.
"It's the only bomb we've got!"
It's a funny parallel, but it's also a nice bit of world building, showing that even hundreds of years apart, some parts of the Avatar world still have the same everyday problems, like accidentally building your city on top of a giant gas pocket. Maybe the architects in that part of the world should start checking for leaks before they start laying down foundation. Jumping to the deserts of the Earth Kingdom, callback number 5 brings us the Beetleheaded merchants, the same ones from Appa's Lost Days. When Appa is stolen from Aang at the library, the sandbenders sell them to the merchants. We see them when Appa tries to fly away, and they have to use the sheer darts to make sure he doesn't do that.
We need the sheer spit dart!
In the Shadow of Kyoshi, the Avatar and her airbender companion Jinpa also have a run-in with the same group. On page 238, Jinpa says, "Then we went to the Misty Palms and ran into that problem with the Beetleheaded merchants and their mercenaries." Not only does this confirm that the Beetleheaded merchants have been around since Kyoshi's time, but they're also still operating in the same area centuries later. The fact that they lasted this long probably means that that part of the desert is a major trade hub. Callback number 6 is the water whip from the waterbending scroll episode. We all know Katara stole the scroll from the pirates, and she struggled with the simple move while Aang got it right away. But this move has been passed down for generations in the waterbending culture. In the novel, Kyoshi pulls out that very move against a name I don't want to say just in case you want to read it. At the end it says, a water whip lashed down from above. LeBron only managed to leap back at the last second. I changed the name in this too for no spoilers because I also thought that was kind of funny. The water whip seems like a very effective move that waterbenders not only knew for a long time, but thought it was a good enough move to teach the Avatar. Sticking with connections to the past avatars, this reference is in regards to how the avatars meditate. It's no secret that spirituality is a big part of the avatar's journey, and how they get to the spirit world seems to be the same, meaning they have to meditate to get there. In the Shadow of Kyoshi, we get a nod to how Aang would meditate and how it's different between the avatars. On page 330, Kyoshi thinks to herself. She arranged her hands, put her thumbs touching to make a circle, preferring it over the knuckle-to-knuckle contact Master Airbenders do to align their tattoos. We've seen Aang align his tattoos many times to jump into the spirit world, and it's cool to think that not every avatar and not every nation meditates in the same way. They may all be the same reincarnation, but they have their own way of expressing that they are the avatar. The final callback for the Shadow of Kyoshi is the clay turtle. We actually hear this callback in the Rise of Kyoshi many times when Kyoshi steals it as a child, and when she accidentally breaks it when she's escaping the Avatar Manor. As we know, that is a really important artifact, as it will decide the next airbending avatar in the cycle as we saw in ATLA.
Those were some of my favorite toys when I was little. I just chose them because they seemed fun.
But in the book, Kyoshi finally meets Avatar Yang Chen, and she says, "You broke one of the sacred air temple relics, a clay turtle. See that you replace it. There's only one more lifetime after yours before it's needed again." If Kyoshi didn't replace the clay turtle, I don't know what would have happened. It is a good thing she did, or else probably would have had a little bit more difficulty finding Aang was the Avatar than they originally did. And that wraps up 8 callbacks from the Shadow of Kyoshi to Avatar The Last Airbender. I love how these novels keep breathing new life into the world we already know. Every little detail reminds us how deeply connected each era of the Avatar universe really is. It's one big story that stretches across centuries, and the more we learn about Kyoshi, the more it feels like we're uncovering the roots of everything that appears later with Aang and Korra. But those were just the callbacks I noticed. I'm sure there are more hidden references that I missed, so if you caught any others while reading the Shadow of Kyoshi, drop them down in the comments. I'd love to hear what stood out to you. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like and subscribe and ring that bell so you don't miss out on any more Avatar content. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.